What's a ducked up movie everybody should watch at least once? Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. Happiness. Seriously. That movie haunted me for months afterward, and it's not even a horror movie. It's got tons of terrible things in it. Rape, molestation, shootings, etc. A Clockwork Orange. I wouldn't say it's all too ducked up, but I doubt we'll see another movie like it for a very long time. Where the Wind Blows and Plague Dogs. I got a couple of friends to watch both and it went about as well as one would expect. Mulholland Drive. That homeless jigsaw surprise is responsible for my anxiety when I take out the rubbish. Alice, by Jan Spentmeyer. It's a very faithful adaptation of Alice in Wonderland with stop-motion animation. The ducked up part is that most of the animals are dead. Stuffed animals. When they lose blood, their stuffing comes out. Also, The City of Lost Children. Idiocracy, amazing movie. The duck part is how we're moving closer to it becoming a reality. Enter the Void made me think a lot about my eventual departure from life. A lot of feels. A lot of dust in the air. Etc. Irreversible by Gaspar Noé. With Monica Bellucci and Vincent Cassel. This is probably one of the most repugnant and legit terrifying movies I've ever seen, and I am a movie dweeb and seen a fair share of those. Because of how real, how grounded and how simple the tragedy is. If you have a girlfriend or a female friend who doesn't take her safety serious, show her that movie. Make her watch it. Actually, it has this episodish-like theme and the episodes are reversed. It starts from the darkest point of it and then gets less chaotic when you start to understand what is happening a little by little. Culminating in a tragedy that is also one of the most realistically shot acts in movies. The whole gruesomeness and realism it depicts is terrifying. A lot of people might get sick from watching that scene and most of the movie. But the whole fact of how simple, yet real the situation is the scariest part of it all. It happens without warning, yet because of how movie is made you feel something terrible is coming. If you are a decent man, it will make everything inside you boil with rage. Yet leaving completely helpless as it probably feels in reality. Just like in real life, it happens everywhere and without warning or meaning, and at the end many lives gets ruined and justice is not served. It might make you overthink some values in life. The Green Room. The way they show those kids die just seems so vivid to me. Like it's non-sensationalized enough that you can imagine it happening to you. Magnolia. 3 hours of downward spiraling. Frenetic madness that doesn't skip a beat until the surreal ending/catharsis. It's a hell of a ride. Irreversible. A movie played out in reverse. Where the characters start out ruined and you eventually find out what happened. The movie ends leaving you feeling violated, while the characters are blissfully ignorant of the horrible things in their near future. A true mind-duck of a film. The Cell. Even if it's not the best acting on J.Lo, everything else is an amazing visual mind-duck. Still love that movie. Blue Velvet. Recently saw it at a midnight screening and it got me right in the guts. So worth it. Matilda. Think about it. A child with telekinetic powers that is subject to both physical and emotional abuse by her parents. Her father is an unlawful con man, who will willingly sell unsafe cars just to make a profit. Her mother is a meretricious snob, who completely rejects the idea of showing her daughter any form of admiration. Her brother openly hates and bullies her. The headmistress is a sociopathic tyrant. It is heavily alluded to that she killed her own brother, who would have probably murdered Matilda and Miss Honey if she had found them in her home. There are scenes of mild torture and abuse, cakesense, child thrown through window, glass smashed over child's head, etc. Even the school itself is a physical manifestation of the breach of the children's human rights. Man Bites Dog. The mockumentary style and inclusion of the filmmakers in the narrative adds an element of shock far beyond just the graphic violence. Ravenous. Scrolled for a while to make sure I wasn't saying this after it's been said. It follows. Genuinely creeped me out on a level almost nothing else has, and has a phenomenal score. Also, The Quiet Place. Please see this one in a theater. It is the most silence you'll ever feel in a public place. The Skin I Lie have been an amazing movie about just how far grief and loss can push a person. One of Antonio Banderas' best movies. Imo. Not remotely sympathetic in any way. Mind you, just a movie about dark people doing dark things. And when it all comes to a head, you either understand or you don't. But it's not the sort of movie where one can pick a side and empathize. I went into it totally blind. And I think it helped me enjoy the film. Kept me totally engrossed. I do feel that the official trailers that exist sort of give too much away. But that could just be me knowing the significance of what I'm seeing. The Cook. The Thief. His wife and her lover. It's messed up and not in a good way. I'm not sure if you should watch it, but there are a few scenes that I vividly remember. I saw it once /25 years ago. Sal. Or The 120 Days of Sodom by Pier Paolo Pasolini. Pasolini was murdered in the streets of Rome before the film could premiere. Likely in direct relation to the film's subject matter. The film depicts a group of Italian fascists who kidnap children and submit them to various forms of sadism and sexual torture. It's an extremely political film that pulls no punches. I wouldn't say super ducked up, but Alpha Dog got in my feels for a few days. And Odd Thomas gets ducked up also. Same actor in each movie. Most of the comments will be about a Serbian film, which is totally disturbing, no doubt. But in my opinion, that movie kind of had it easy. The plot and subject matter it dealt with were bound to make it one of the most disturbing movie ever. But to be honest, movies like Requiem for a Dream, Dancer in the Dark, The Celebration, Irreversible are legit good movies and don't depend on the shock value to get your attention. The Seventh Continent. This movie is disturbing on a number of levels. Inspired by actual events, it's a movie about an Austrian family that decided to pretty much end every semblance of their lives by systematically destroying all of their earthly possessions. The overwhelming feeling of going past a point of no return is real when watching this movie, and I don't think I could ever do it again. Most everything good has been mentioned, but I'll throw in Leaving Las Vegas. Nicolas Cage is an alcoholic who goes to Vegas to drink himself to death. Definitely makes extreme alcoholism look very unglamorous. The Voices. Probably the best Ryan Reynolds movie, although I haven't seen Deadpool. It's about a schizophrenic factory worker whose cat tells him to kill people. I love the way the cinematography changes as his mental state changes. You feel an emotional shift yourself as the movie goes along, and the discomfort that comes from going from a happy comical movie to a dark uneasy ending. It forces the viewer sympathize with the character. Much like the way Requiem for a Dream does cleverly with drugs. Oh. And also watched Requiem for a Dream. Paprika. I had to read articles about it afterwards to understand some more deeper meaning, and OMG. Just watch it. Old Boy. However, everyone should be an adult in good mental health before watching. It's a pretty crazy movie. Life is Beautiful. A European film tragicomedy about life in WW2 concentration camps. What stuck with me is a scene in the beginning where one Jew is essentially made fun of by his peers for being worried about Hitler. They tell him there's little to worry about because it's the modern times now where people are civilized. Strangeland. Dee Snider, from Twisted Sister, as a deranged, sociopathic kidnapper with very weird kinks. Imo, a little known cult classic, with a totally banging song list too. Apocalyptic, 2014. It's a terrifying found footage genre movie about two people that hear about a cult in the woods from someone in town. They go to the woods to try and find it. By far the scariest movie I've ever seen. But a very interesting one because pretty much everything in the movie happens in real life cults.